Billy and Sally arrive at society in costume for the launch, only to discover that none of their guests are there. Cain appears and sits at the bar. He thought they'd never arrive. Pouring drinks, Ashby explains that the party's been called off, hopefully, as well as the launch of Abbott Communications. Appalled, Sally asks what Cain has done. He explains that he canceled the party and the staff. They can hardly believe he expects them to sit down and chat. Ashby insists this is his way of looking out for them. He still considers Billy a brother and warns that Victor will soon have the power to destroy his company. He can take control of AC's finances. Billy asks how that's possible. Phyllis appears and declares that it's possible because Cain sold them all out. Sidling over to Cain, Phyllis asks, "Is it true?" Cain invites her to share her thoughts. She asks if he has AI software that can infiltrate a company's financial system. Cain smirks that Nick must have gone to her and warned her. Sally wants to know what the hell they're talking about, so Phyllis fills them in on the existence of Ashby's AI program. At the Abbott residence, Jack and Diane are all in a lather because the launch was suddenly canceled and they can't reach Billy. Diane and Jack speculate as to the reason for the surprising news, with Diane snarking that Jack should have been notified. They can't reach Sally either, so Jack will look for answers elsewhere. After Jack learns that Abby's staff found out it was canceled on social media, Diane wonders if Billy moved the event because Cain got to him. Jack argues that Billy wouldn't do that. Diane concedes the point, but not entirely. She wouldn't put anything past Billy or Cain. Jack notes she doesn't think much of his brother. Diane argues that this can't be totally surprising, given how many times they've argued. At Crimson Lights, Kyle's stewing about breaking Claire's trust when Holden walks in. Seeing an outlet for his anger, Kyle confronts him about getting drunk with Claire and orders him to stay the hell away from her. Holden stays cool, but Kyle decidedly doesn't. He complains that his cousin, Abby, saw Holden and Claire together and warns Novak not to test him. Holden informs the Abbott that Claire can make her own decisions. Kyle accuses him of taking advantage of her vulnerability because he has a past with Audra. Holden counters that Kyle is the one who mistreated her. He was there for her when Cole died. He should be happy she had someone to rely on. Holden insists he's not undermining their relationship. He even told Audra to back down. Giving a warning himself, he advises Kyle not to come at him again, especially when he doesn't have a leg to stand on. Holden reveals that he's been Claire's confidant, and Kyle fumes that he's overstepping. He's a player and needs to back the hell off. As he utters those words, Claire walks in right on cue. Claire learns that Kyle thinks Holden's a bad influence. Kyle shrugs. What do we really know about the guy? He doesn't trust him. Claire says, I do, and informs him he doesn't get to choose who she spends time with. If he thinks he does have that right, she's not sure their relationship stands a chance. Holden doesn't want any trouble and vows to handle Audra. Kyle snips that he can handle her. Claire fumes that Kyle shouldn't go anywhere near Audra. Holden shuffles out and Claire informs Kyle that she's lost her appetite. Did he pick a fight with Holden? Kyle says Abby told him she was drinking with him. Claire wonders if he's suggesting she shouldn't trust her own judgment when it comes to Holden. Kyle doesn't believe he wants to see them happy. He wants you, Claire. Back at the Abbott house, Jack complains that this launch cancellation reeks of Cain or Victor, but his wife still thinks it's Billy. Jack argues that his brother wouldn't want this mess. He simply can't believe that Cain convinced Billy to turn against him. If he wants him out, he'll have to tell him to his face. Kyle comes in and questions the launch cancellation. Diane explains they think Cain may have gotten to Billy. Jack's not really to think the worst of his brother yet. Nothing Kyle's downcast expression, they ask what's happened. Kyle pouts that it's become abundantly clear that he doesn't have a clue what he's doing in relationships. Kyle details his distrust of Claire's friend Holden. Claire overheard their confrontation and took Holden's side. She may think he's being controlling. Diane's sure that's sensitive for her. Kyle whines that this situation just keeps spinning out of control. They have a little rant about Audra trying to break Kyle and Claire up, and Kyle wonders if she's succeeded. At Society, Cain tells Sally, Billy, and Phyllis that Victor found out about his software and revealed he had dirt on Colin. Billy can't understand why Cain would protect his father at this point. Cain says it will damage Arabesque. Sally asks what any of this has to do with AC. Cain will protect them, but he'll need their help. Phyllis wants to know how she fits in. Cain, in a comical aside to Billy and Sally, says, "I can't get rid of her. She's just stuck to me like glue." He continues smirking as she protests that she's been a loyal ally to him. Cain appreciates her support, but he needs the same from Billy and Sally. Billy asks how Victor will come after them. Cain prompts Phyllis to detail what the AI program can do. After Phyllis has filled them in on the sinister capabilities of the program, Cain explains that Victor could use it to take down Abbott Communications and make it look like Billy or Jack did it. Sally asks why he'd create something like this. Billy murmurs, "Because it's amazing." Cain tells Silly he did them a favor by canceling tonight's events. He needs to keep his hands clean, so he'll have to trust the three of them to do what needs to be done. He'll give them the AI program, and they can take down Victor themselves. At the Overlook, Claire approaches Holden, admitting she followed him to apologize for Kyle's behavior. Holden shrugs that he actually understands why Kyle feels the way he does, though he appreciates Claire defending his honor. Claire fishes to find out what happened with Audra in LA, but Holden explains that knowing might put her in an awkward position. What went down wasn't entirely legal. He'd rather leave it in the past. Claire assures him it wouldn't change the way she sees him. She's no stranger to breaking the law. Claire fills Holden in on how Jordan raised her as a liar, manipulator, and to murder her entire family. Holden's suitably stunned at the idea of Claire doing any of those things. She tells him the past shouldn't be allowed to haunt him. Holden likes the way she thinks. He likes everything about her. Confirming Kyle's suspicions, he says he can't pretend that's not the case anymore. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of September 15th and 19 reveal that Michael Baldwin will make a dangerous mess, while Claire Newman faces some temptation. There'll also be some wedding delay drama, so let's talk about what's in store. For starters, Audra Charles won't be ready to give up on Nate Hastings just yet. Nate and Audra's relationship blew up over all the secrets and lies, but Audra will hope that Nate might reconsider now that he's had time to cool off. Although Nate may hear Audra out, it doesn't look like these two have a future together anymore. Audra and Nate's trust has been broken beyond repair, so she'll have to accept that sooner or later. Meanwhile, Kyle Abbott will continue to fret over his own relationship with Claire, especially now that Holden Novak has planted himself firmly in her orbit. The closer Claire and Holden get, the more concerned Kyle will be. Kyle should definitely be worried, since Holden has feelings for Claire and will send her an interesting invite soon. Claire will face some temptation as Holden keeps turning on the charm and finding new ways to surprise her. Over with Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson, they'll face some trouble in the form of Billy Abbott. Billy will manage to cause some romantic problems for Chelsea and Adam, but they'll move past them quickly and come out stronger on the other side. Chelsea's inner schemer will definitely emerge more often this fall, so Adam should approve. Next, we should talk about Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti's wedding plans, which will come with some unexpected hurdles. The nuptials will get delayed since they were previously set for October, but they'll now be happening in late November according to new Y&R spoilers. As for Michael, he'll get stuck in a mess of his own making. That's because Michael will move forward with working for Cain Ashby, while secretly giving Victor Newman any hot scoops he learns. Although Michael will try to hide the details from Lauren Fenmore Baldwin, that plan won't work out for long. Lauren knows Michael awfully well and will eventually figure out what he's really up to. That's going to rile Lauren up and put a strain on her marriage to Michael. It could also put Michael's plans in jeopardy, since Lauren will take steps to stop all this before Michael makes a big mistake. The Young and the Restless say the week of September 15th and 19th will bring some risky business and terrible news, so stick with us for updates on all the turmoil. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, September 11th, 2025, have Nick sharing a secret with Sharon, Jack demanding answers from Billy, and Phyllis giving Sally unsolicited advice. Is Nick Newman a clone? No, probably not, but the man manages to be in two places at the same time. We saw him at Chancellor Park offering support to Phyllis, his ex-wife, earlier this week. On Thursday's show, he's going to spend time with his other ex-spouse, Sahron. Watch for Nick to share a secret with Sahron. Does this involve their son, Noah, who is set to return to the show in the form of Lucas Adams? Sahron and Nick will always be tied to each other through their children, Noah and Faith. If there's one thing that's going to unite Sahron and Nick in terms of a bond, it's their kids. On Thursday's show episode, watch for Jack to demand some answers from Billy. The bond between the Abbott brothers appeared unbreakable when Billy filled Jack in on what he knew about Cain. Nothing can stop the Abbotts if they're united. However, Jack knows that Billy has the potential to be mercurial. If Jack senses that Billy is getting back into bed with Cain, he's going to want an explanation as to why. The only way the Abbotts are going to remain strong is if there's clear and open communication among the family members. Phyllis is in the middle of the whole Cain v. everyone else battle in Genoa City that has the potential to explode. Billy's allegiance to Cain could play a key role in the billionaire executing his plan. On Thursday's show, watch for Phyllis to give Sally some unsolicited advice. What might those pearls of wisdom include? Phyllis may have helpful words to make sure that Sally and Billy have a great work life and personal life together. A cynical person might think that Phyllis's advice is ultimately going to benefit one person, Phyllis. Tune in to see what Phyllis has to say. The Young and the Restless. Spoilers for Thursday, September 11th, reveal that Sally Spectra will face a harsh reality while Sahron Newman scores a secret. Jack Abbott will also confront Billy Abbott. So here's what Y&R viewers can look forward to. Since the launch party was canceled, Jack will finally corner Billy for some answers. As Jack puts Billy through a grilling session, he'll wonder how Abbott Communications' big night became such a disaster. Billy may insist this was Cain Ashby's doing and offer updates on Cain's explanation that he was trying to protect the company from Victor Newman. However, Billy might stop short of admitting Cain offered up his AI program in hopes that Billy, Sally, and Phyllis Summers would use it to destroy Victor. It all depends on how much Billy wants Jack to know, especially if he thinks Jack might stand in the way. Whatever the case, Billy may like the sound of making sure Victor crashes and burns, but Sally will be nervous about this whole situation. This isn't what Sally signed up for, so she'll feel like she's getting dragged into an illegal mess. Nevertheless, Phyllis will deliver some guidance, whether Sally wants it or not. Sally will have to face a harsh reality and perhaps accept that when it comes to Victor, playing dirty is the only option. Sally might also have to face the fact that Billy's obsession with revenge on Victor isn't going away. Fighting with Billy about that may be pointless, so Sally may just have to decide what she can and can't tolerate. Over with Nick Newman, he'll make Sahron part of the secret circle. It sounds like Nick will give Sahron all the latest news on Cain's AI program and the twisted things it can accomplish. Nick might tell Sahron about his warning for Phyllis, who was grateful and agreed to pass along any Cain info. Sahron may be skeptical about Phyllis's promises and fears she won't be quite the helpful ally Nick expects. Regardless, The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick will open up to Sahron and get her opinion, so stay tuned to hear her point of view. The Young and the Restless recap for Wednesday, September 10th, reveals that jealous Kyle Abbott's outburst will anger Clare Newman, while Cain Ashby plots a sneaky Victor Newman takedown. At Society, Billy and Sally Spectra will strut in dressed for their 50s-themed launch party, but Cain will be waiting to tell them it's been called off, hopefully along with the launch itself. Sally and Billy will fume, but Cain will insist he's doing them a favor since now's not the time to launch a company. Cain will explain that Victor could target it and take control of their finances with no way to stop him. Phyllis Summers will barge in and confront Cain over the AI details she's learned, so Cain will assume she got updates from Nick Newman. At Cain's urging, Phyllis will explain how the program can totally destabilize a company's finances and how it disappears once it's in the system. Sally will wonder why anyone would create something like that, but Billy will pipe up that it's amazing. Cain will admit the blackmail situation since Victor's got him cornered. Although Cain needs to keep his hands clean and avoid causing more drama with his kids, he'll want Billy, Sally, and Phyllis to take Victor down. Cain will be willing to give them the AI program to make that happen. At the Abbott mansion, Jack will keep trying to get in touch with Billy since he got a message about the launch party being canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. This news will quickly turn into a media spectacle, so Jack and Diane Jenkins Abbott will debate what's really going on. There'll be concerns about Cain getting to Billy and leading him astray. At Crimson Lights, Kyle will spot Holden and confront him about getting Claire drunk since he heard about that from Abby Winters. Holden will insist it was Claire's idea and will get why she needed to blow off steam. Kyle will accuse Holden of putting moves on Claire while she's vulnerable and order him to stay the hell away from her. Holden won't appreciate the threat, especially since he tried to be helpful by warning Audra Charles to let Kyle and Claire live their lives. Kyle won't want Holden involved and will once again push him to back off right as Claire appears. Once Claire questions what's going on, Holden will defend Kyle a bit and suggest he's just being protective. Kyle will admit he doesn't trust Holden, who worked for Cain, pretended to be Damian Cain, has a history with Audra, and clearly did something shady in LA. None of that will bother Claire, who'll trust Holden despite Kyle's concerns. Claire will make it clear that if Kyle thinks he can dictate who she spends her time with, their relationship isn't going to work. Claire won't want Kyle ruining the progress they made earlier, so he'll try to smooth things over. However, Kyle will privately warn Claire that Holden wants her and will definitely seem jealous. Afterward, Kyle will fill Jack and Diane in on what happened. Since Kyle keeps making a mess of things, he'll worry that Audra's plan to tear him apart from Claire is succeeding. In the park on Wednesday's Y&R episode, Claire will apologize to Holden for Kyle's behavior and encourage Holden to open up about what happened in LA with Audra. Holden will acknowledge that what went down wasn't totally legal, so he'll fret over how his admission might change Claire's view of him. Claire will believe Holden is a good guy and will suggest she wouldn't judge him, especially considering her own history. After Claire comes clean about all the Jordan drama and how she tried to kill her family, she'll try to convince Holden that the past shouldn't haunt you. Holden will ultimately admit he likes everything about Claire and that he can't pretend it's not the case anymore. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Holden's feelings for Claire are going to be a big factor for her moving forward, so stay tuned. Cain Ashby didn't have much contact with moguls Victor Newman and Jack Abbott on The Young and the Restless during his first tenure in Genoa City, at least not on a power level. Now, the wealthy Cain may play a role in the ending of the long-running feud between the two men. Jack and Victor's feud dates back to the 1980s. Jack didn't care much for Victor's relationship with his sister Ashley. Victor was not happy that Jack was having an involvement with his wife, Nikki. After Jack took Jabot Cosmetics public, Victor bought up controlling stock so he could wield his influence over Jack and his family. Around a decade later, the Abbotts, thanks to Ashley, wrested control back from Victor. Still, the animosity between Jack and Victor seldom cooled. It heated up again last year after Jack got involved in Nikki's sobriety. Now, according to an interview in TV Insider, Cain may hold the key to ending the Newman-Abbott feud once and for all. Nikki, Victor, Jack, and Diane, Susan Walters, will be forced to deal with the potential wrecking ball that is Cain, to a point where Jack and Victor may find that they need to set aside their hatred of each other and work together to fight him off, says Josh Griffith, Y&R's executive producer, head writer. Griffith believes that a truce between Victor and Jack, even if it were achieved, wouldn't last. Perhaps the two men would attempt to undermine each other. In fact, Cain's return may actually make the long-running battle between Victor and Jack even worse. While Cain may prove to be a catalyst in ending or making worse the Jack/Victor battle, there are two women who might help make it end. We're talking about Ashley, whom Victor has a soft spot for, and Tracy, whom Victor respects. Tracy's daughter Colleen gave her heart to Victor after she was declared brain dead. One would think that having a lovely young woman's heart in the Mogul's body would help make him more compassionate. Johnny and Katie might not be Silly's biggest supporters. Billy and Sally are still going strong on The Young and the Restless. So far, Everything's been surprisingly peaceful for the couple, who recently made a big commitment. However, they'll be facing a tough challenge soon. Billy and Sally recently decided it was time to move in together. This is a big commitment for the couple, which sparked some concerns from Sally. Among her fears were the reactions of Billy's kids, Johnny and Katie. Although Billy hasn't discussed it with the kids, he reassured her everything will be fine. But maybe not. There hasn't been any on-screen interactions of Sally spending time with Johnny and Katie. But it seems the three have hung out off-screen, and Billy mentioned that the kids adore Sally. However, their opinion might change when they learn of Billy and Sally's new living situation. Johnny and Katie already have to share their dad with Sally, and now they'll have to share their home. With the four of them living under one roof, there's bound to be chaos and tension. Sally might be left alone with the kids while Billy is busy with work and stopping Cain. Johnny and Katie won't make things easy on the couple. With Billy spending time with Sally at work and home, the kids could start feeling neglected. Sally's fear of getting in the way with the kids might come to fruition. With Johnny and Katie showing resentment towards Sally, it'll impact her relationship with Billy. Although Sally loves Billy, she doesn't want to come between him and his kids. As for Billy, he'll fight for Sally. But when it comes to her and his children, he'll choose Johnny and Katie. It's make or break time for Kyle and Clare. Kyle and Clare have recently been put through the ringer on The Young and the Restless. Their relationship has been put to the test, which has Clare fans worried. However, Haley Aaron thinks everything will work out for the pair. No matter what challenges happened, Clare knew she could count on her boyfriend Kyle, or so she thought. Recently, Clare has learned some information that paints Kyle in a bad light. First, there was Victor and Audra's scheme to tear them apart. While Clare was furious at her grandfather and Audra, her anger then turned towards Kyle. She was upset to discover that Kyle made out with Audra so he could bust her plan. As if that wasn't enough, Clare just learned about Kyle's contract with Victor. This latest news has Clare more confused than ever. Right now, their relationship is at a standstill until Clare figures out her next step. Kyle fans are worried the couple is headed for Splitsville, but Aaron sees a future for the pair. In an interview with Woman's World, the actress expressed her hopes for the couple. Clare and Kyle have long game potential, Aaron revealed. They could work it out. And Michael is such a lovely, kind, funny person, and he's so well prepared and super collaborative. So selfishly, I hope to see a long, tumultuous relationship. Clare and Kyle aren't the first Y&R couple to deal with drama, and they certainly won't be the last. Although they're dealing with one hiccup after another and might take a little break, they'll find their way back to each other. That is, until more trouble arises. The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that Kyle Abbott will see more than he bargained for. Claire Newman is angry with Kyle's lack of honesty about what happened between him and Audra Charles. He lied to his girlfriend, telling her that nothing happened between them. Claire then learned that they kissed, and it could have gone further, but Kyle stopped it. But Claire gets the feeling that something more happened, but neither Kyle nor Audra is being transparent about it. Kyle got the bright idea that proposing to Claire would solve all their relationship issues. He bought a beautiful ring for her, giving her a heartfelt marriage proposal. Claire didn't say no, but told him she needed to think about it. She told him that she needed space, begging him to give her time without his interference. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Claire leaves Kyle's house to go to Society for a drink. She runs into Holden Novak. The pair orders drinks, and it isn't long before she's pretty tipsy. That's when Audra shows UP, and the ladies almost end up in a fist fight. Thankfully, Holden ushers Claire out of Society to the coffee house to sober up. They end up in Chancellor Park and kiss in a moment of weakness. This scene was set up for Kyle to follow his girlfriend and see her in a heated lip lock with Holden. Kyle believes Claire can do no wrong and praises her for being such a good person. This kiss would break him and possibly send him to Audra for comfort. When Kyle sees Claire in a lip lock with Holden, it could send him straight to Audra. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Kyle sees something that will blow his mind. That would definitely blow his mind. He wouldn't know how to process sweet Claire in a lip lock with another man. It will likely send him reeling and seeking comfort in Audra. Y&R spoilers reveal that Audra would be more than willing to bed Kyle, if for no other reason but to rub it in Claire's face. The battle between Claire and Audra is just getting started. It's going to get pretty ugly before it's all over. Y&R fans, do you think Kyle will sleep with Audra? Do you like Holden with Claire? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Remember to watch The Young and the Restless, airing weekdays on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, September 10th, indicate some massive drama as someone crashes a party, while another is concerned about a cryptic message, and a character takes control over a situation. What can fans expect during Wednesday's show? Read on to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, September 10th, reveal that Cain Ashby will ruin Billy Abbott's and Sally Spectra's big night. It sounds like he won't only crash the Abbott Communications launch party, but sabotage it too. The promo video for this week shows Billy and Sally excitedly heading into society for the launch event, only for Cain to be there instead of a room full of their friends, family, and supporters. How did Cain keep others from attending? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Across town, Jack Abbott will receive a cryptic message that has him concerned. Could Cain send out a message blast to all invitees of the Abbott Communications launch party, telling them not to bother? Read this. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Sahron and Nick rescue kidnapped Noah. Cryptic message kicks off hostage story. Is this what Jack's cryptic message is about? It sounds like this will be the case. But what will be the reason for the party being called off? Lastly, The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday hint that Phyllis Summers will take control of the situation. Off the cusp of her talk with Nick Newman during the September 9th episode, and his warning that working with Cain will land her in prison, Phyllis called Cain up at the close of the show. With that said, Phyllis was quite upset that Cain didn't keep her in the loop about the AI software he had developed and the legal implications linked to it. What will Phyllis do to take action during the September 10th show? Only time will tell. What storyline are you most looking forward to during Wednesday's show? Cain blew up Billy and Sally's big night, only to make them an offer that could change everything. Will they take his AI weapon to fight Victor, or regret it? In the September 10th episode of The Young and the Restless, Cain's sabotage of Billy and Sally's big launch shifted into something far more dangerous. After canceling their event and humiliating them publicly, he revealed his willingness to hand over his powerful AI program on the condition that they use it to help him take down Victor. This bold maneuver has the potential to redraw the battle lines in Genoa City, forcing allies and enemies alike to reconsider where they stand. Billy and Sally arrived at Society ready to debut their new communications venture, only to discover the decorations gone and their guest list warned away. Cain coolly admitted he had shut it all down, claiming he was saving them from launching something Victor could immediately seize. What began as sabotage quickly turned into a pitch. Cain explained that Victor's leverage over him was built on Colin's crimes, and that he couldn't fight the Newman patriarch alone. The AI at the heart of Cain's pitch is no ordinary program. As Phyllis bluntly laid out, it has the capacity to infiltrate a corporation's financials, destabilize it, and plant evidence that would implicate innocent employees. In Cain's view, it was too dangerous to keep in Victor's hands, but also too valuable to destroy. For Billy and Sally, the offer represented a fork in the road. Either they take the AI and potentially weaponize it against Victor, or they walk away knowing someone else might. If Billy and Sally accept Cain's offer, they risk more than their company's future. They risk becoming exactly what Victor expects them to be, pawns in a bigger war. Jack has already begun questioning Billy's judgment, and Sally's willingness to cross ethical lines could shatter the professional credibility she's fought to build. Aligning with Cain may empower them in the short term, but it would bind their success to a tool designed to destroy. That raises the central question: is Cain's supposed act of trust a lifeline, or just another con designed to keep him in control of Genoa City's future? The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates reveal sabotage, secrets, and shocking wedding twists during the next 3 weeks, September 8th to 26. A couple will be sabotaged, a secret-filled invitation made, and some shocking wedding twists. The week of September 8 to 12 will feature a confrontation between Audra Charles and Holden Novak. He'll be ready to spill the details about the trouble Audra caused in Los Angeles if she doesn't leave Clare Newman and Kyle Abbott alone. Later, Clare will again question Holden about what happened in LA, hoping to gain some advantage. The events were clearly illegal in some way, so Holden will be concerned that his involvement in the cleanup will make Clare think poorly of him. However, there might come a time when Holden chooses to confide in Clare about the truth. This could help him gain favor after Clare lashes out at Kyle for keeping quiet about his $5 million deal with Victor Newman. This could also lead to Kyle having to leave town if things go badly. Certainly, Audra is the one who needs to leave as far as Kyle is concerned. Kyle will focus on making that happen and might collaborate with Victor, who will also think Audra has been in GCville long enough. At Society, the Abbott Communications launch party will be a complete failure due to Cain Ashby. He will happily welcome Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra when they arrive to find the venue empty. It seems Phyllis Summers might slightly improve her standing with Cain by assisting him in this endeavor and sharing significant news. Cain could demonstrate that his AI software is effective if he has already been interfering with Abbott Communications and disrupting their plans. Sally faces a moral choice soon, deciding whether to join Cain's corrupt team or pursue a more honest career. At the same time, it appears that Michael Baldwin cannot resist Victor's proposal. Michael has an opportunity to reconcile with Victor if he takes Cain's fixer role and discreetly relays any valuable information to Victor. Cain appears ready to recruit a spy, but is he more cunning than Victor thinks? Will Cain be aware of his actions and possibly anticipate Michael's loyalty to Victor? If that's true, Cain might be laying a trap that Michael could get caught in, which could mislead Victor. Even though Mariah Copeland will contact Tessa Porter to share something, it seems she won't confess to being responsible for that stranger's unfortunate end.